Um, you know what? Yeah, I hate to be having to do this, because I would say that I'm surprised, but then again, I'm not. It's the same old shit that we have to put up with each and every time. And I was contemplating, whether to go live or whether to just sit on it and ignore it. You know what I mean? One of them things, but as you guys can see in the thumbnail, racial abuse strikes again. And why are we surprised? Big up to Fitz, big up my guy each and every time. And you know, you, you know what it is now, yeah. You know what it is for me. It's one of them things where Vinicius Jr. Yeah can be argued as being a bit of a wind-up merchant, because he has got things in his game that opposition do take offense to, but for me, um, he's been on the receiving end of racial abuse for far too long now. And my thing is this Benfica game that they played today. Obviously, great goal by Vinicius Jr. And then I think it was Gianluca Prestiani. Now, the very fact that it was Prestiani that has obviously said something to Vinicius Jr. It's the old Brazil versus Argentina striking again. And for me, um, there's no doubt in my mind that something was said because, as I said, Vinicius Jr. has been on the receiving end of racial abuse before in Spain, and now he's been on the receiving end of racial abuse yet again in the Champions League. And if you look at what Vinicius Jr. actually said to the referee, you can actually see him muttering the words monkey, you know. And again, these kind of things now for me are becoming it's becoming a bit of a joke now. And I've always advocated. And again, guys, let me know what you think in the comments because I'm not sure if you guys have actually watched the game, but there was 10 minutes where I think roughly 10 minutes where Vinicius Jr. actually sat down in the dugout for about 10 minutes, I believe, due to the racial abuse that he received. And guys, let me know what you think. Obviously, in the chat, let me know what you think. Give me your questions, give me your comments as well on what you think. But for me, I've always said something needs to be done in regards to this racial abuse now because it's been going on for far too long. If you go back to obviously back in with the likes of Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Bukayo Saka, Vinicius Jr., and this whole thing now is becoming a bit of a joke now. And I've always said the only way things like this are going to change, big up to Babs One Diva as well. The only way things like this are going to change is if literally, and I don't know if this is possible to happen, yeah, is if all the black players that play in Europe if they all make a stand and all walk off the pitch at the same time, because otherwise these things are just gonna keep happening, and especially when you're playing like I'm gonna say again, the fact that it's Brazil versus Argentina, that Prestiani that actually said the comment, and again I do believe Vinicius Jr. because Vinicius Jr. has got racial abuse before, and you can clearly see from the reaction of Vinicius Jr. the way he ran over to the ref, something was muttered under the breath from Prestiani, and for me now, it's becoming a problem, a massive. Well, I say it's becoming a problem. It's always been a massive problem, but something does need to happen now in terms of taking a stand because I think all the work that's been done before, to kick it out and stuff like that. Let's be honest, is that actually working? I know obviously it's a UEFA problem, but tell me seriously, is anything actually being done? Because the fact that these things are still prevalent in 2026, at what point now do a lot of these players now start deciding we need to be making some serious actions? And as I said, I've always said, for me, all the black players need to come together for me and just take a stand and just walk off the pitch all at the same time. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure if you was to lose a lot of the black players in Europe playing, I'm pretty sure that won't go down well, and I'm pretty sure how would the football continue? Because the majority of the players that play in Europe, whether people like it or not, there is a lot of black players that play, whether it's from African descent, that play for the likes of Holland, Spain, France, etc. And for me, it's an absolute joke now, man. It's becoming a joke. And big up to Fitz. So Fitz says it's like racists target him more because they know it impacts his game. Only proves how talented he actually is. Whole game needs to be called off and offending team forfeit. Soon dead it from games. Big up Fitz, bro. Yeah, listen, I agree, yeah. And by no means am I saying, yeah, that Vinicius Jr., because Vinicius Jr., he can be perceived as a wind-up merchant. But the problem is, yeah, the very fact that you've got opposition players that feel no way to just racially abuse him, at what point do we start looking at this now and thinking, serious things have to be done, and the fact that Prestiani, again, it's going to be a massive talking point, guys, because, you know, just like the abuse he got before, it's going to be a massive talking point, unfortunately. And again, I hate to come on my channel and start discussing stuff like this because, by now you would have thought that these things would have been, eradicated from the game. But the fact that Prestiani can just feel free to just racially abuse Vinicius Jr., knowing that Vinicius Jr. is Brazilian and Prestiani is Argentinian. Again, man, it's an absolute disgrace, man. And as I said, as Fitz said, it does prove how talented he is that someone can racially abuse him and try and throw him off his game, But it's becoming now just a massive joke, man. And again, it's only going to keep happening. Like this is the actual truth. Like I don't see nothing really being done. I think all these campaigns and stuff like that, they're a waste of time. It's quite clear. So I need to see what a lot and again, I think a lot of the black players that play in Europe need to be taking a stand with Vinicius Jr. Whether you like Vinicius Jr. or not, whether you think he's a white look, you can see the way that he ran over to the referee, and I think he's muttering the words monkey. I'm just watching it right now, yeah. But the fact that Vinicius Jr. is the one that seems to be on the receiving end of the abuse, it's ridiculous. And as I said, I think a lot of the players that play in Europe, maybe a lot of the black players from around the world, they have to back Vinicius Jr. on this, whether you like him or not, because, if it's happening regularly to him, don't think it's not going to happen to the next black man, because it's just happening too frequent now, Big up to Stretford M podcasts. Big up to Bazman Diva says, right, Gav, black players need to take a stand. No more talk, more action. Walking off the pitch is the only way. I agree because what difference has all these campaigns made, really? They've not made any difference, because you'd probably say racism has got even worse. You know what I mean? Since these campaigns were introduced, if we're being honest, and the fact that there's players that freely feel to just their way of winding up Vinicius Jr. is to resort straight to the racism card. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's why I'm saying enough is enough, man. Enough is enough for me. That was disgusting. In my opinion, how that player wasn't sent off is a sham, and I won't stand for it, bro. Yeah, listen, I agree. I mean, it's frustrating to come on there yet again. Well, I say yet again because I haven't really done it as of late. I mean, there was obviously the Ian Wright thing, which I thought Ian Wright was wrong on the Jude Bellingham thing, but the Vinicius Jr. one is clearly obvious that there is an issue in regards to how this player is perceived by opposition, because the very fact here that you can tell that Mbappe, was obviously Mbappe weren't happy as well. But the very fact that the Benfica fans chose to take exception with Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe, it's like, well, how can you take exception with Vinicius Jr. when he's clearly telling the referee that he's been racially abused? Like, I don't really understand, yeah, how that can be anything but Vinicius Jr.'s problem. You know, the guy's racially abusing him, and it's like the fans are still booing him every time he gets the ball. You know, and again, the fans weren't booing Camavinga, Chouameni, or Rudiger. They were booing Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. And again, because those two were involved in the confrontation that was happening. But again, whether you like Vinicius Jr. or not, the guy clearly is getting racially abused. And as I said, at what point are we now going to start saying that, you know, enough is enough for me, you know? Big up to Homer Simpson. Tommy says, it's just not right. Why would he cover his mouth with his shirt if he didn't say something? But again, big up to Homer Simpson, yeah? What I would say, yeah, is I am 99% certain that Prestiani racially abused him. Because the thing is, yeah, Prestiani's Argentinian. And we know that Argentinian and Brazil, they have a fiery relationship anyway. And the fact that his shirt's over his mouth, yeah, and the fact that Vinicius Jr. reacted instantly lets me know that something was definitely said. You know, if it was like a bit of a delayed reaction, you would have probably said, I'm not sure here. You know, maybe Vinicius Jr. is making it up to get him sent off. But the very fact that Vinicius instantly reacted, something was definitely said. And you can clearly tell that, you know, he was muttering the words. He was muttering the words to the ref that he's been called a monkey. You know, and yet again, that is the kind of language, you know, that a lot of these players resort to. It's the easy word to use. You know, big up to GT Gaming says your content's really underrated. I don't just make videos. I support creators who put effort and care into what they do. Keep going. You're doing great. Yeah, big up to GT Gaming fan, man. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. As I said, you know, I love doing what I do, you know, and obviously the channel is growing. And as I said, man, if you're enjoying the content, then yeah, I appreciate you a lot, man. It means a lot, man. And as I said, man, I'll keep going and I'll keep spreading my voice, man, because as I said, when it comes to football talk, you know, I look at the space of YouTube, and you know, a lot of these other YouTubers have got a lot more traction than what I have. But in terms of just knowing football, you know, I'll take on anyone when it comes to just general football chat, man. So yeah, no, I appreciate it, my guy, man. Big up yourself. It's just the fact that the player only did it to get on his nerves. Nothing else. He knew what he was doing. Just a disgrace. But this is the problem, Stretford. Then yeah, it's like why is that kind of racial abuse? Why is it, you know, the word that is just that these players have to resort to? Do you know what I mean? If you don't rate Vinicius Jr., just say he's shit. But why is it the racial abuse has to come out? These are the questions that need to be asked. And again, I'm not surprised that Vinicius Jr. is getting racially abused, because you would have thought when he got racially abused in Spain, you know, he took a big stand, and quite clearly that's not made not one bit of difference. So we have to see now what difference is tonight going to make. Because I believe the only difference that will make to the racial abuse stopping is if all the black players take a stand, you know, and forever how long until something's done, these guys just refuse to play. Because again, man, it's just getting a bit of a joke now. You know, it's all this kneeling as well. It's pointless. You know, it's not nothing's being done quite clearly. And again, I think Vinicius Jr. is the he's kind of like the poster boy. I'll say poster boy, but he's kind of like the head figure in terms of where the racial abuse is being directed. And again, Vinicius Jr., as I said, I think he's a bit of a wind-up merchant. I do think that, yeah. but there's no way that he should be receiving, the kind of abuse that he does. He's one of the most known players in world football right now, and he's been on the receiving end of some absolute disgrace, man. But again, it's not the first time. It's not the first time. So I don't know, man. Big up to Clock, and it says, in 30 years of going to the Arsenal, I've not heard any racial abuse. I'll be honest with you, yeah. I'll be honest with you, yeah. And I think for me personally, what I would say, yeah, I think if you're saying there's no racial abuse at all at grounds, I would say you're very naive. I would personally say, whether you've experienced or you've been in the grounds where you've heard racial abuse, is a different story. But for me, there's racism, I believe, in the majority of the grounds you go to. And again, I think you'd be very naive to think that there's no racial abuse going on, because these things have been prevalent since back in the day, you know what I mean? And, you would have hoped that football would have gone past this, in terms of the racial abuse, but quite clearly it hasn't, and again, the fact that Benfica actually have black players as well, if I'm the black players on the Benfica team, I'm having a word with this Prestiani guy, and letting him know in no uncertain terms, what you think, kind of thing, and do whatever, because the fact that he's that free to call Vinicius Jr. whatever he called him, yeah, we believe obviously it was the words monkey, and he's got black players in his team already. It shows you that, there's a lack of respect in that sense, and I definitely do believe something was said, because you can just see the reaction of Vinicius Jr. And as I said, man, racism has no place in football. I just don't understand the players that feel that they can just resort to that. It's just madness, absolute madness. He's lucky that Vini went to the ref, because if it was me, I would have absolutely dropped him there and then. But bro, this is what I'm trying to say to you, yeah? This is what I'm trying to say to you. Like, these things, yeah, need to be eradicated, because say Vinicius Jr., yeah, just dropped him, and that guy goes down and hits his head on the ground, and then he ends up passing away, and Vinicius Jr. gets done for manslaughter, let's say. Who's going to be in the wrong? Because, Vinicius Jr. would be in every right to attack the guy. He would be, if you're getting racially abused like that, yeah? But the facts are nothing is being done, really. And again, when I'm saying nothing's being done, I actually mean that, because the fact that these things still happen in football, you would have liked to have think drastic measures would have been taken to just stop this completely. But do I believe UEFA, even the FA, do I believe that they actually care about racism? Really? I don't. Because if they did, then by now they surely would have taken a more sterner stance in terms of things like this happening. That's just my honest opinion. And I don't believe these guys actually care, and yeah, you have to rate Vinicius Jr. going to the ref, because I'm pretty sure if it was a certain other players, they would have just lashed out on the guy, not even thought about the referee. And these are the kind of things it creates, because, really and truly, if you're Vinicius Jr., you would have had every right to react. And why not? You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's crazy, man. Big up to Fitz, says Vinny is 100% a little bitch in terms of ref appeals and rolling around and after tackles, and a shithouse with the skills and celebrations. This was not shithousery. This was 100% racial abuse. Yeah, big up Fitz, man. I couldn't have said it any better myself, yeah? I actually do agree with what you said there. Like, Vinicius Jr., he is a shithousery kind of player, in the sense of, he is, as I said, he's a wind-up merchant. But just because he's a wind-up merchant, that doesn't mean that the racial abuse should just be forthcoming. It shouldn't be that, man. And again, Like he's probably for me the number one player that receives the most racial abuse than any other player right now. So yeah, listen, he definitely was abused. He definitely was abused, but as I said, man, it's gonna carry on. Unfortunately, like I'm as a black man myself, yeah, I'm just waiting for the next racial abuse to come about, man. Whoever it's gonna be, because these things you would have thought have gone away, but they're never gonna go away really until something seriously is done. Like, let's face it, you know. Uh, Big up to Foxy Danny as well. Big up yourself. Um, it's not just in football, it's in society right now. People think it's okay to be racist. Yeah, big up to Clockenders. Clockenders, this is the problem. This is the problem. It's a society problem, man, no doubt. No doubt. And you know what I mean? For me personally, man, I just don't get people that think it's okay to one racially abuse someone to their face, and why these guys think like this in the first place for me. Because I look at things like, if you're someone that feels you have to racially abuse someone, it kind of sums up what your life's about, really. There's something that's not right there, because I just don't understand why racial abuse is the first thing that these people come to. It's just mad. It's just mad. And we're never really gonna get to the bottom of it, man, because whether we like it or not, man, it's rife in society, and yeah, it's just crazy, man. But I don't know, man. I don't know what to say, man. I'm gonna go through your comments anyway and see what you guys got to say, because for me, I'm just more bored of this, because it's been going on for a while, man. And I want to see what they do after this, because a ban for me, I mean, what's a ban gonna do, really? What is a ban gonna do? I mean, guys, let me know what you think should happen, because I'm past the point of you know of I mean, I don't think bans. I mean, what do bans do, really, or a fine? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Unfortunately, politically, it's probably going to get worse. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, I agree. Yeah, it's a massive problem, man. Don't forget, Joe will tell players to become. Prestiani clearly didn't need the instruction. Kid was born one. But again, this is where I'm coming from. Yeah, if you look at the fact that he's from Argentina and Vinicius Jr. is Brazilian, you can clearly see he knew what he was doing. He clearly knew. And then obviously you got Otamendi as well, who's Argentinian. Otamendi is gonna try and come and be peacemaker. But Otamendi would have, he would have known that, yeah. I think Otamendi would have known that he said something to him. I mean, Otamendi's not dumb, because he's Argentinian as well. You can clearly see that Mbappe and Otamendi were getting into it as well. But yeah, man, let's just see what happens from here and now, because yeah, it's a joke, man. It's an absolute joke. I think maybe Benfica fans might be banned for the second leg of the tie. Yeah, but again, I mean, I don't personally think, yeah, that the Benfica fans should be banned. I don't think that, yeah. For me, the way that I'm looking at it, yeah, is that there's a societal problem, yeah, when you've got a player getting racially abused. He's reacted by telling the referee, yeah, the same as Mbappe. And these fans think that, let's boo the two players that went to the referee. And again, it doesn't really make sense to me, because Vinicius Jr. has clearly gone to the referee to complain that he's been racially abused. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do these fans expect Vinicius Jr. to do? What, just accept the racism and keep it moving? Like, it don't make sense. So the fact that these guys actually were booing Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe, it's idiotic, really. because the guy's been racially abused. I mean, do they think that Vinicius Jr.'s lying? That can be the only thing that I'm looking at, and it's yeah, it don't make sense to me, man. It doesn't make sense. But then again, a lot of things in this world don't make sense to me. You know what I mean? It's we live in a very effed up world, man. That's what I will say. You know, where people just feel free to just go and racially abuse someone because of because of the color of their skin. It's madness, absolute madness. You know. Um, Gav, I'm just disgusted. Why was the player allowed to play on? Why was he on the fucking pitch? Ref's a bitch, man. Yeah, again, man. It's a failure, and the very fact here that um Vinicius Jr. went and told the referee, yeah, the player stayed on the pitch, and Vinicius Jr. came back onto the pitch. That just tells you there and then, yeah, that this whole thing's a laughing stock. No one's taking it seriously. Because how can a player go and say he's been racially abused? The referee halts the game. The referee does nothing to the player that was in question. Vini comes back onto the pitch, and the game just goes on like it was normal. Tell me that, you know, it's not being taken seriously. Like I don't understand that. You know what I mean? How can you be racially abused and then it's like, okay, we'll just play the game anyway, and then we'll just talk about it after. Like it tells you there and then that these people are not taking it seriously. That's the truth. You know, that is the truth. If every player agrees to walk off in protest of these moments, offending teams forfeits the game, throw points, deduction, and fine on top, then press charges on the offenders. Only hope of change. I agree. I agree. Something like that needs to happen. But I don't know, man, if they're actually thinking of doing things like that anyway. Because why wasn't that done before? I actually do think it needs a strong stand from all the black players that play in Europe. You know, for them to all come together and say enough is enough. You know, but whether, you know, it's a breach of contract or whatever, I'm not sure what's involved there. But something does need to happen. You know, but because otherwise it's only going to happen again. You know, and I think personally, in terms of players racially abusing on the pitch, it's a European thing. It's going to happen more in Europe, you would say. I think if we look at the Premier League, it's very unlikely to happen in the Premier League for me. Very unlikely. You know, maybe you'll get, well, not I'll say maybe, you will get racial abuse from the stands. But in terms of from players, that's more going to be Champions League, Europa League for me. You know, and you can clearly see, obviously, Jose Mourinho was talking to Vinicius Jr. And again, obviously, it's Mourinho's player. He's trying to, like, understand Vinicius Jr., you know, trying to console him in a sense. But Vinicius Jr. knows what he heard, man. And his reaction was telling for me, you know. So, it's crazy, man. Crazy. Clattenburg saying it's his own fault for celebrating his goal. Nah, he never said that, man. He never said that. If guys, don't put fake quotes in there, yeah? If they're real quotes, put them in. Because I don't believe Clattenburg would be that dumb enough to say that. You know, if Clattenburg did say that, my man needs to go and stick to Gladiators rather than getting back involved in the football. But you know what I mean? Because he's doing a dreadful job at Gladiators as we speak right now. So listen, I don't believe he said that, man, because that would just be outrageous. You know what I mean? Again, if anyone's got the quotes, put them in, because I'm not believing that for a second, that Clattenburg said that. Jose could have subbed him, but didn't. There is no one bigger at shithousery than Jose. Yeah, but again, I don't blame Jose Mourinho, really. I mean, yeah, we can pick fault and say Jose should have subbed him. But for me personally, you know, I'm not going to start saying that Jose didn't care, because we know how Jose likes his black players, you know what I mean? So that's one thing I will say. And again, Jose Mourinho is in a Champions League knockout, you know, and again, he's going to use whatever necessary tools he can to win the game. I think it all comes down to do with the referee for me. And the very fact that the referee chose to keep the player on and just play the game as normal, Like, it's not really setting a good precedence, is it? Let's be honest, man. Let's be honest. So yeah, man, it's ridiculous. Bear in mind, I've seen anti-racism slogans in football my whole life. It's going to take a lot for it to change. Yeah, exactly, Fitz, man. I'm not even like the thing with me. Yeah, things like this need to be spoken about. You know, on plenty of other channels as well. But for me, it's one of them things that why are we surprised? You know what I mean? Because it was always going to happen again. You know what I mean? And Vinicius Jr. is at the receiving end. And now all we're doing now, rather than talking about the football, we're talking about another racial abuse again. It's ridiculous, man. Semenyo got abused at Liverpool and he was told to suck it up basically and play the game. Just a joke. Again, guys, let's put in some real quotes because a lot of the things that's being said on here through the chat, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt because I just don't believe there's people out there, you know, that will just say these kind of comments because they should be called out for this nonsense if they are saying that. So the Clattenburg one and the Semenyo, if you've got real quotes, put them in the chat, guys. Vinicius Jr. hasn't done himself any favours when he's getting racially abused. Who said that, Clockenders? Who said that? I want to know who said that. What, Clattenburg said that, yeah? Clattenburg said that. Yeah, bro, listen, man. Move mad. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So Mark Clattenburg said that Vinicius Jr. hasn't done himself any favours when he's getting racially abused. If he said that, yeah, if he's genuinely said that, yeah, I'll be very surprised if there isn't any sort of resignation talks, because how can you come out and say that Vinicius Jr. hasn't done himself any favours? At the end of the day, whether he's done himself favours or not, the guy's been racially abused. Like, what's this Clattenburg talking about? I'm gonna find the quotes from him or the interview anyway, because I just can't believe he's come out on TV and said that. I'm not taking that seriously. Like, he can't just come out and say that Vinicius hasn't done himself any favours, because this goes beyond whether he's done himself favours. He could be, Vinicius Jr., he could be the most unprofessional player there is, yeah? But at the end of the day, he's been racially abused. And no one in football should be racially abused, whether you're black or white or Asian. Do you know what I mean? That's the point. So when Clattenburg's coming out talking this crap, like, yeah, he needs to be questioned for that, really. You know, or something does need to be spoken about in terms of what them comments there. You know, because that is just mad to me. Yeah, it is stupidity. I agree. It is stupidity. Until players start walking off, this is not going to stop. What a stupid comment by Clattenburg. The people that don't know what it feels like telling people how to act. Do you know what? So it must be true then. And if that is true, yeah, Clattenburg said that, he should be sacked. He should be sacked for that. You know what I mean? What is Clattenburg's role anyway? Because last time I see that Clattenburg, my man was in Gladiators. So he's obviously dropped off. So what's his role right now? Because that is outrageous to come out and say that. It's outrageous. That's outrageous to come out and say that. Yeah, big up to Stretford then, podcast, big up. So, what did he expect him to do? Would you rather have Vinny smack the guy? Exactly. Say Vinny hits the guy after the guy's racially abused him, then what? What's Clattenburg gonna say? You know, Vinny asks for this or whatever he's gonna say. Like, what's this guy talking about? It's madness. It's absolute madness. Yeah, I just can't believe he said that, man. I need to find the after we finish the stream, and I need to go and watch that because I just can't believe he's come out and said that, man. That is just ridiculous. That's ridiculous, man, honestly. Oh, man. It's madness. It's madness. I mean, he scored a great goal, to be fair. He scored a very good goal. And then, what ensues after that, man, is kind of, he's kind of taken over the game now, unfortunately. Um, but we're we're probably gonna see the same old shit, really. Like someone probably get fined or something like that. I don't know, but the whole fining thing ain't gonna make no difference. Like it's not. It's madness, man. And again, it's yeah. The only people that basically have failed here is the referee, really, because if someone comes and tells you, like, it's difficult, but if someone comes and tells you that they've been racially abused, yeah, it's like, what's the protocol for that? Because the game was stopped, yeah, but yet it resumed. So to me, that's just telling me that he's not really believing Vinicius Jr. Like that's the only thing that I can make of that. You know what I mean? That is the only thing that I can make of that. Like it's madness. Uh, Vini Jr. has gone through a lot of abuse, including FIFA opting to deny Vini a Ballon d'Or was a scam and total racism. You know what? Yeah, you know what? What I would say on the Vinicius Jr. Ballon d'Or, yeah, I haven't got a problem that Rodri won it. If I'm honest, I actually did think that Vinicius Jr. was going to win it, but for me, I had no problem Rodri winning it because Rodri for me is a top player and probably did deserve it after the season he had. But again, there's no denying what worked against Vinicius Jr. is this whole FIFA thing that he had to go through. It that worked against him, unfortunately. And when you look like Vinicius Jr. as well, yeah, you're always gonna be on the back foot, unfortunately. And yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, really, because this guy just gets regularly racially abused, and it's yeah, enough's enough, man. Something does have to be done. In my opinion, he can win it next year, Gav. Yeah, no, I don't think he wins it next year. Again, we know how the Ballon d'Or works. It's numbers and Champions League, and whoever wins the World Cup, if it's one of the favoured players, they're gonna be one of the favourites for the Ballon d'Or. But I think Vinicius Junior's best time was to win it when he missed out to Rodri. You know, but again, it wouldn't have sat right with me that Vinicius Jr. wins a Ballon d'Or before Neymar. So the fact that Vinny didn't get it, it's not really that much of a problem to me. But yeah, the racial abuse is something else, man. Because yeah, it's unacceptable, man. It's unacceptable. But guys, give me your opinions. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. What do you think needs to be done next? Um, Let me know what you think needs to be done. Because again, this racial abuse now, man, in football it is a laughing stock. It's a laughing stock because it's been like this for how long now, and it's just crazy. So, but again, I wasn't even gonna come on live tonight, guys, but I thought I had to come on live and get it off my chest, man, because yeah, it's unacceptable, man. It's unacceptable when it's just nonsense that the referee just decides to play on. Um, yeah, it's crazy, man. But Real Madrid take a advantage going into the second leg. What was the final PSG Monaco game? I mean, that was crazy. Because they were they were 2-0 down, and then Vitinha missed the penalty, and then next thing I see is 2-2. Desiree Doué and Achraf Hakimi scored. So what was the final score? I bet you any money they came back and won the game. I bet you. Back to 7 clear tomorrow. Boy, you better hope so for your sake, man. You better hope so for your sake. 3-2 PSG, I told you. I knew they'll come back and win the game. It's always the same. Madness. Yo, Gav, the ref can't do anything except report it, and UEFA can only look into it after. Yeah, listen, big up, man. I understand all that, yeah. But my point is, the very fact that that's a problem in itself, yeah. That's a problem in itself. The fact that Vinicius Jr. has told the ref he's been racially abused, and then the game stopped for a little bit, yeah, and then carried on, it shows you there and then that it's not being taken seriously, regardless if the ref can't do nothing at all. That's the truth. That is what it's telling me, because if racism was taken seriously, yeah, then I'm sorry, man. The referee should have just halted the game altogether. That would have shown me that they take this racism thing seriously. But the very fact that they just played the game, and the same guy that racially abused Vinicius Jr. still played the game. So that just tells you there and then that this ain't taken seriously. It's that simple. You know, it's that simple. Yeah, exactly as you said. They just overlooked it and ignored it. And this is the problem. It's not being taken seriously. You know, it's not being taken seriously. That's the problem, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just pathetic, man, isn't it? It's pathetic. But what do you expect, man? What do you expect? It's been going on for years, isn't it? It has been going on for years. I don't know, man. Madness. It's madness. Guys, give me some questions and comments before we wrap it up, man. As I said, I've had my say on it now, and let's just see what happens tomorrow. You know, I'm predicting nothing. You know, I'm predicting nothing because just like always, it's always the same shit, really. You know, just gonna be passed under the buck, man. Let's be honest. Oh yeah, Saka signed new contract today. So Saka's what? I believe Saka's on. So he's going to be getting 75 million over 5 years. So a guy that scored four league goals and 4 assists, yeah, he's got a new 5-year deal which is going to bank him 75 mil. Boy, tell me the standards are not at an all-time low for that club. He's got 4 goals and 4 assists, and he's reward for that. A new 5-year contract that's going to take him up to 75 million a year. 75 million over the 5 years. And I believe he might be on, what, 300 grand a week now. Like, you can't tell me that football is going backwards, because I've never seen a player, and again, this ain't nothing on Saka, by the way, because I do think Saka's a good player, but that is all I think is a good player, yeah? But the fact that he's on 300 grand a week, 75 million over 5 years, yeah? Like, that is a problem in football. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if you're an Arsenal fan and you've got Saka plastered all over your wall. I don't give a damn. Like, you cannot tell me that that's not a problem in football. Because how can a guy that's got 4 goals and 4 assists this season be awarded a 300 grand a week contract, 75 million over 5 years? Like, it's madness. It's absolute madness. Like, you give 300 grand to basically, you know, if you're a top 5 player in the world, you should be getting 300 grand a week. Saka's not that. You know what I mean? So, Gav, I know you don't rate Bruno, but do you think he will leave Man United in the near future? Hopefully. Hopefully he does leave, yeah. Big up to Save for Palestine. Hopefully he does leave and we can move on. That simple. But big up, man. Guys, make sure you guys check out the all-time 11 as well yesterday. Premier League all-time 11 that we done yesterday. So myself, Fitz, and Jonas. Make sure you give that a check tomorrow. Give that a check. Again, it's all in chapters as well. So yeah, if you guys want to see us discuss anything in particular, then give that a check. I'm not gonna lie, there is a couple of surprising names in there, you know, in the team. So yeah, make sure you guys give that a check. Legitimately, how many trophies you expecting this year? Mamba is confident of a domestic treble minimum, and it can't be the same for you, can it? Boy, listen, Arsenal and domestic treble. Boy, good luck. But do you think he will actually leave or stay? I know you want him out. In my honest opinion, Due got two. He come off the bench and got two. Mad. In my honest opinion, yeah, I think Bruno Fernandes moves on next season. I do. Because I think the fact that he's on 300 grand a week, again, disgrace, really, when you think about it. The fact that he's going to be 32 next season, the fact that he called out the board, you know, I do think there'll be some movement there because all we're hearing is, you know, he's going to make a choice on what he does. You know, we're hearing that there's even fans out there that think he should get a pay rise. I mean, yeah, laughable, isn't it? But for me, I think Bruno goes at the end of the season, and again, it's gonna be refreshing if he does go, because I'm saying this now, yeah. If once we move Bruno Fernandes on, yeah, I can start looking at this team as being serious again, because this team is too much revolved around a player like Bruno Fernandes, who isn't really a top player. He's not. Like, I'd argue that of anyone, you know. Cool, you can rate his numbers, you know, if you want to, you know, but the fact that this club is built around a player like that is a problem for me. You know, again, I'm doing great to the game. If any of you guys have been watching, you know, and it's legends of the game. And some of the players that, you know, I'm discussing, it's like when I just hear Bruno Fernandes' name and the way he's spoken about, it's just madness, really. So yeah, I say to you, Bruno, he's been a good servant to the club in terms of his availability. I think in terms of being available, you have to give him credit for that, yeah. But we just need to move him on and just keep it moving, you know. Let Kobe thrive, you know. Let Cunha thrive. Let Ahmad thrive, you know. Get some midfielders in and we keep it moving. It's that simple, man, for me. Due is such a class player, man. We'll love him as our winger signing. Yeah, we're not getting Due. We're not getting him. So, yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening. But I do think Due is good, though. I do think he's good. Should try and get Yildiz to replace Bruno. But again, Yildiz is a winger, man. Bruno's playing as a number 10. Again, Bruno's not a 10, but he's playing as a number 10. But you again, the Kenan Yildiz one, I don't speak about Kenan Yildiz because it's unrealistic. We're not going to get Kenan Yildiz. He's going to cost too much money for one. And as I said, man, I think there'll be other teams that will be looking at him. And, you know what I mean? It's one of them things where we're probably going to focus our efforts on getting a midfielder, on getting midfielders. So, yeah, it's not going to happen. Or that kid from Como, I can't remember his name. Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about. I forgot his name. Is it Diop? Is it Diop? Hi, Gav. Great content again, man. Yeah, big up, man. Big up for coming through. Big up. Gav, I feel like Bruno will stay if we qualify for Champions League. Yeah, but it shouldn't be down to Bruno Fernandes. This is the problem. This is the problem. Yeah, Nico Paz is a top player. He's a good, very good player. it shouldn't be down to Bruno Fernandes. This is where we're going wrong. Why are we allowing a player, you know, like that to dictate what we do? The facts are we should get Champions League football under Carrick, yeah, and move on some of these players, i.e. Bruno Fernandes, i.e. Diogo Dalot, Ugarte, Mason Mount. You know what I mean? Those four players there for me need to be moved on. You know, we shouldn't be saying that if we get Champions League football, Bruno might stay. Like, Bruno's not the Pope. Like, we need to remember that. You know what I mean? He's just a normal player that has been given everything since he's come to this club. And it's about time we just move on from a player like that. And again, I'm here for the conversation. Like, you can dislike it, but it is what it is, man. We just need to move on from Bruno Fernandes. It's that simple, man. It is that simple. I'll tell you now, you know, a lot of you probably won't be thinking, you know, we can't do without Bruno for some reason. But I promise you this now, if we get rid of Bruno Fernandes, I guarantee you we're gonna be in a better state as a club. I guarantee you. Guarantee you. Gav, the more I think about it, if the more I just see Valverde in a Villa shirt, it's mad. Yeah, someone actually said that to me before. Valverde, it might have been you, yeah. There's there's no way Valverde goes Aston Villa. Like there's no way that happens. You know, I'm not quite sure where that's coming from, but Valverde's not gonna leave Real Madrid, arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world, and no disrespect, to go to Aston Villa. Like if he left Real Madrid to go to Man United or Liverpool or you know what I mean, a club like that, then I'd be like, yeah, maybe, or Bayern Munich. I can see that. But he's not going to go to Aston Villa. I mean, if he went to Aston Villa, then I'll tell you now, Aston Villa will definitely be onto something. Yeah, I've heard this nonsense. Someone actually commented on my channel today, actually, yeah, telling me Martin Odegaard. And it's like, I've never heard such bollocks in my life. And I think people are just doing content for content's sake, you know, making up bollocks. Like, why would Man United go for Martin Odegaard? For what reason? Why would Arsenal sell Martin Odegaard to Man United? He's their captain. So again, I think it's just people just saying things just for clicks, because why would Man United be in for Odegaard? It's just a waste of time of talking about it. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So yeah, man. That's the one. Asana Diao, yeah, that's the one. Who's better over single 90 right now? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Who's better over single 90? It's crazy, man. Crazy. Barca ain't really great over two legs. Inter and now Atletico are showing that. Yeah, but you know what I'd say, yeah? When it gets to the crucial rounds, this is when you're going to see what teams show up. You know, the group stage really means nothing. You know what I mean? Because look at PSG, for instance, yeah? They're in the knockout phase and they were 2-0 down against Monaco. And then they've just gone into gear and now they're 3-2 up away from home and they're going to go through, you'd expect. So again, when it starts hitting the quarterfinals, this is when the Champions League starts for me, because the Champions League quarterfinals are going to be, you would arguably think, the best teams in Europe. And it's over two legs. So this is when you're going to see what teams are on what. So let's just wait and see, man. At one point, Gav, I would have taken Odegaard, but not now. Yeah, listen, Odegaard for me, yeah, he's a very good footballer. He's a good footballer, but he's one of them players that he flatters to deceive for me, you know. And just being a neat footballer isn't enough, you know what I mean? And as I said, we don't need an Odegaard. We're not going to get Odegaard, so it's just pointless talk for me. It's so pointless. It's not going to happen. And again, man, like, I think if Odegaard was to leave Arsenal, you know, I don't think he stays in this league. I think he probably goes back to Spain, maybe in Italy, you know what I mean, where the game's probably a bit more slower and he can show his technique. That's what I believe. But yeah, we don't need Odegaard, man. Bruno, you'll get at least a 7 every week. I mean that's not true. That's not true. Like that's sofa score. You know what I mean? That's either sofa score or these pundits or these commentators just lying. Because as I said, I've watched probably every Manchester United game since Bruno came to the club. And I can probably count on one hand how many good performances he's had. That is the truth. Because he's one of them players in football as we know right now. You know, he gets hyped up for his numbers, not for his performances. So when people are saying he's a 7 every week, it's not true. That's just what people want you to believe. You know what I mean? And as I said, man, this is a proper footballing channel, and we're not swayed by a majority opinion. You know, we have our own mind. And as I said, he doesn't play 7 every week. You know what I mean? That's a complete lie. Um, Gav, as an Arsenal, do you think Arsenal has a chance to win the Champions League? Good question, but it's a good question, but it's an easy one. If you guys have never won it before, what makes you think you're going to win it now? You know what I mean? You never won it before, but so how can you win it now? That's what I'd like to know. Yeah, it's not going to happen, man. Not going to happen. I think the best bet you guys have got of winning a trophy this season is probably the FA Cup, because you guys have got Mansfield in the next round. That's your best bet, man, for me. But Man City win the Premier League. I'm not sure who wins Champions League, but it's not going to be Arsenal. And Man City will beat Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, Arsenal got a tough game away tomorrow against Wolves. I'm actually gonna say, and this might shock people, yeah. I'm actually gonna say I can see Wolves nicking a point from Arsenal tomorrow. You know, because the first game was tight, and as I said, man, it was. I think the goal that the winner for Arsenal was an own goal. Funny enough, so yeah, and obviously Wolves have been playing a lot better, and they're gonna be at home in front of their crowd. You know what I mean? So they might try and make it a bit tight. Who knows? Who knows? But again, it's a must-win game really for both teams. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. But guys, listen up. We're gonna wrap it up anyway. Big up yourselves for coming through. Obviously, you know, it's not really enjoyable, I would say, coming on a stream and, you know, talking about racial abuse, because it's just an absolute joke, really, that should have been eradicated time ago. But unfortunately, man, when there's nothing that's gonna be done about it, you know, you're gonna end up finding yourselves talking about it. And as I said, man, it's a disgrace. But I just want to see what's going to happen, because I'm expecting a fine, but that's not going to be enough. As I said, man, it's going to take drastic action for these things to be eradicated from the game, and I just don't think they give a damn about it. That's my honest opinion. So who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up anyway, guys. We should be back. Obviously, I'm gonna be back normal time tomorrow at 12:30 again. So yeah, I'll definitely be back at 12:30 tomorrow, and then in the evening, you know, should be back at 8 p.m. tomorrow. So we're gonna do a new thing that we started to look at. So we're gonna do an all-time best 11 from clubs. So we're gonna start off obviously with Manchester United tomorrow, and then we're gonna go through all the major teams in the league. So we're gonna do Man United's all-time best 11. We're gonna do Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham as well. We'll put in there, Man City. So yeah, we're gonna do the all-time best 11s from the major clubs in all the leagues, and then we're gonna go on to you know, Spain, Germany, France. So yeah, man, it's gonna be some good content. So obviously, it's gonna be myself, It's gonna be myself and Fitz, and I'm gonna try and get Owen to come on as well. Hopefully tomorrow. But again, if there's anyone that wants to jump onto the channel and have your say, then by all means, just let me know. and I can send you over the link to come on and interact. Or if not, just make sure you're there in the chat interacting as well. So it's going to be a good one. So yeah, it should be live tomorrow in the evening at 8 p.m. And as I said, man, it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it because there's a lot of yeah, man, gonna have a lot of discussion because there's gonna be a lot of players that are gonna be left out, and yeah, this is what creates debate, man. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, make sure you guys are there anyway, and yeah, man, it'd be good. It'd be a good one. But other than that, guys, make sure you smash the like button on your way out. Make sure you share the channel. Make sure you sub to the channel, and make sure you smash the likes as well. And again, someone just mentioned Jamie Vardy. Listen, we've got our list, put it that way, but that is Premier League. Obviously, we done our all-time Premier League 11 yesterday. So again, make sure you go and check that out with myself, Fitz, and Jonas. As I said, it's in chapters. So yeah, go and check that out. But yeah, we're going to be doing the clubs this time. As I said, it's going to be the major teams in the Premier League. So we're going to try and do that every week, most probably on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But yeah, I'm going to try and sort out a day. So yeah, it's going to be good. But guys, other than that, I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow at 12:30 if you can come on. And yeah, big up yourselves. Have a good rest of the week if I don't see you. And guys, keep your support coming through. It does mean a lot. And as I said, man, this channel is going to grow. And appreciate all of you guys coming in each and every time and contributing to the channel. So yeah, big up yourselves. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.